Hey there, friends. How's it going? I'm Papa. We got some more Umineko Chapter 3 for you today. I honestly don't remember what happened last time, so we're gonna just dive right in and hopefully it'll remind us. I think it was something about the backstory of we had the kids' picnic on the beach, but I think the background that we were having was more about their aunt and uncle. Just saw the word boobs there. I'm not happy that that's one of the first things I see scrolling back through text. Maybe that was 2 streams recordings ago. But yeah, Eva. We had like a whole backstory about Eva's childhood, and I think the last bit ended with Battler noticing that George and Jessica were maybe a little closer than he remembered, and did I say George and Jessica? No, they're cousins. We're not that kind of thing here. George and Shannon were closer, and Jessica kind of confirmed that as well. Up here is Beatrice to just shatter her dreams. We'll see what she has to say. Thank you for shattering my eardrums, Beatrice. Something tells me Battler is still a little like Battlescar from last time. Yeah. Well, she's here. That's kind of how the games work. It's kind of hard to have a game that's one-sided. And so the tale repeated for the 3rd time. However, before the Endless Witch, what point was there in counting? 1, 2, 3. There was probably no point at all. After all, this tale of fantasy would be repeated endlessly until the match was settled, either Battler or the Witch surrendered. And the sky grew dark and cloudy, and the rain and wind were summoned together and became a typhoon. And Maria could be seen in the rose garden, paying no mind to the rain that had started falling, going around in circles, searching for that single rose which she had surely marked. Maria definitely remembered it. That rose had been in the flower bed right here, and yet it wasn't. She didn't know what to do with her irritation not being able to find something which should have been there. And moaning bitterly, she couldn't help but keep going back and forth in circles around the same spot. She was acting almost as though she would be able to see it if she looked at a different angle. Try as she might, there was no way she would find something that wasn't there. This has been such a small little thing. It's like where did this flower go? Is it going to be used as a point later that everyone looked for it, and then suddenly, magic, it appears? Is it some symbolical symbol that the world has been cut off, and that part of reality is now gone? I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. The wind grew increasingly stronger and the rain turned into cold, large drops. There was no way Maria wasn't bothered by this. However, if she couldn't find her rose here, it would surely disappear forever. Maria believed that. The feeling spurred her on to keep searching for a rose that she had no chance of finding. Just then, the cold drops of rain that were tormenting Maria were suddenly blocked. This would be even funnier if they just cut the rain from right over Maria. Maria raised her head. When she did, she saw that an umbrella was open there, protecting her from the rain. And the one holding out that umbrella was the witch she admired, Beatrice.
このような雨の中、何を必死になっているのよ。体を冷やせば風邪をひくこともある。
Or a rain, I guess. Because I think from what we saw, our grandfather yeets the ring out at like the start of the storm. So I think her appearing is the sign that like everything started. Her wearing the ring, like the typhoon happening and the ring going, I think are like almost the start. Almost right at the same time.
魔女かな。自らの健康も気遣いたいもの。
マリアのね、バラが見つからないの。おお、何度探してもね、ここにあったはずなのに見つからないの。
Maria told Beatrice about how there had been a slightly unhealthy, pitiful rose. That she was sure they had marked it.
それが見つからぬと、そなたの魔女の見習いなら魔法にてバラを探してみるという。目だけで探そうとするうちは、それにははるかに及ばぬであろうね。
見つけられない。マリアも頑張って魔法で探そうとしてるけど見つけられない。
魔法の修行にはちょうど良いかとも思う。わらわが特別に力を貸してやる。弟子の身を案ずるのは師匠の役割だからね。
Another question is, Beatrice, at least in my opinion, has some affection for Maria. And does see her as some kind of apprentice. Probably because Maria seems to be the only one who actually respects her. And I think Beatrice maybe can't quite see the same of like Canon and Shannon, who she sees as, you know, servants. They're kind of like beneath her. And I think she also has some kind of affection for our grandfather when she's, you know, like, hey, old man, can't you understand? Like, I'm right here. I think there is some affection there, even if it's like masked by bitterness at this point. Because if Beatrice is like the Witch of 1,000 Years, and we're on reliving of this time 3, for all we know, she's relived like his whole life multiple times at this point. Maria's face, which had been full of sadness until just now, split open into a grin. Maria knew. She knew that there was nothing Beatrice's magic couldn't do. She was sure that Beatrice would easily be able to find the rose that she couldn't find herself. Beatrice closed her eyes lightly, acting as though she was listening for something in all this wind and rain. Then she heard it, opened her eyes, and spoke.
商業無常に残念だな、マリア。この風雨にそなたのバラは耐えられなかったらしい。
それじゃマリアのバラは
風雨に散り、すでにこの世のものでは
ない。But Beatrice had said it was certainly plausible. There was nothing odd about the flower being broken off the stem in this strong wind. However, Maria couldn't accept this and bitterly gave a low-pitched moan.
やだ。
More than no, she's saying like, I don't want that to be.
マリアのバラが帰ってこないと嫌だ。マリアの魔法で生き返らせる。
And more like, I want my rose to be given back to me. I want to give life back to it with magic.
ベアトリーチェ、魔法でバラを蘇らせるのを教えて。
無限の魔法の秘術。そなたごとき見習いにはまだまだ早いわ。身の程をすれ。
They wiped the tears from her eyes, full of regret. Seeing that expression, which so invited pity, Beatrice shrugged her shoulders and chuckled.
よかろう。バラを蘇らせる秘術。
本当？
ではそなたの心の力を集中させるがいい。目を閉じ、雨を忘れ、風を忘れ、航行するバラの魂を
I
心
wonder
の
if
目で
Beatrice
探
is using this
す。
as a moment to train her. Although, from Beatrice's point of view, if this is going to repeat multiple times,
おお、
then Maria will surely forget what has happened here. The only person who truly remembers right now is the battler she's having this game with, right? Maria closed her eyes, then she repeated Beatrice's poem-like words.
さあさあ、思い出してごらんなさい、バラ。そなたがどんな姿を
And if
して
we
いる
remember, this is a parallel to when Beatrice was an apprentice and she breaks that
さあ
vase,
さあ、思い出してごらんなさい。
and her magic teacher, who I don't know if we ever find the name of, I don't remember,
バラよ、
walks through this
そ
with
なたが
her,
どんな姿
and
を
it,
してい
like,
たの
yes, it
か。
brings it back, but only temporarily, because I think a cat knocks over like 5 minutes later.
見る、聞くの、そして信じる。肉の檻に閉じ
So the
込めら
question will
れ、
be,
魂
is
の
this rose
力
have
を
the same
解
effect where it,
放
gets torn away by the wind, or, I don't know, struck by lightning, something in the next few minutes.
そう。よいぞ。
Around Maria, who was concentrating her power, her eyes tightly shut, small golden butterflies began to dance. Was this the manifestation of the magical power Maria
さ
held?
まよえしバラの魂、今一度集う。そしてその
I guess
姿
the
を思い
implication
出
is
すの。
that, assuming that Maria is the one doing this, that Beatrice, who is saying it as well, is, I guess, powerful enough as a witch that she can just say it but not actually activate the magic. I guess it's not something that an apprentice like Maria
思
really
い出
knows.
すの。
The glitter of the gold butterflies began to strengthen, and their numbers increased. Then Beatrice raised a finger to the skies and they began to gather at the tip of that finger. Or is this all an illusion, and Beatrice is the one doing this incantation? This was the power of the golden magic, and the gold butterflies began to condense into a single dazzling grain of gold. It was a single seed glittering gold. Remember that Beatrice is the Golden Witch. So is the implication here as well that the Golden Witch is the one who can bring things back to life? Because that is what happens when they reach the Golden Land, is she promises to bring everyone back to life. It sat on the tip of Beatrice's finger, budded into a golden sprout, and opened into a golden leaf. It then slowly fell from that fingertip, sank into the mud of the flower bed, and began to grow steadily. Maria, who admired magic and witches, must have really wanted to see this fantastical sight. However, as an apprentice, Maria was still not qualified to see it. No, she was probably afraid that, if she opened her eyes to look, the power of her heart's concentration would be interrupted, and the magic would be lost. Therefore, it was Beatrice, the one who permitted to lay eyes on that golden miracle, who was the one and only witch and the master of many miracles. Then the fully grown rose bloomed, creating one golden flower. And when Beatrice poked it with her finger in just the right way, the gold-colored sparkles scattered, just as if a golden soap bubble had popped, and what remained was a single beautiful rose.
立派な花を思い出したようだな。だがこのままでは 他のバラたちに混じってしまう。もう一つサービスしておくか。
Beatrice, for the sake of her cute apprentice witch, who was moaning even more now in concentration, decided to cast one more little spell. She snapped her fingers, and a single gold butterfly appeared, fluttered around and landed on the flower that had just been revived. Then it suddenly burst open and disappeared, becoming golden lace and marking the rose.
これでよかろう。マリア、もう目を開けてもよいぞ。
バラはどこ？ない。
そっちではないぞ、こっちだ。ほら、金モールで印をつけておいてやったぞ。
本当だ。すごい。ベアト、ありがとう。マリアも早く魔女になりたい。ベアトみたいな大魔女になりたい。
なれるとも。かつてのわらわもまた、そなたのように無邪気にそれを望む。
There's the reference back. Marie was ecstatic over the revived rose, clapping her hands and jumping around in joy. Watching that, Beatrice also smiled, looking fairly pleased. Now if I try, I can break or repair any soul, not just that of a rose, and kill and revive as I please. So the barrier created by the storm has closed Rokenjima off from the real world. Now is the time for the Golden Witch, the endless witch Beatrice, to descend. Beatrice pulled from her pocket an envelope with the family crest, the one-winged eagle, and gave it to Maria. Maria frolicked around it, being selected to be the witch's messenger. Seems like Beatrice is more powerful if her thing lasts, her magic to revive it lasts.
そなたの遊びに再び付き合いに来たぞ。わらわの準備はすでに万端よ。そなたの方は今宵のゲームにかけるコインの用意は十分であろうな。
無論準備は十分であるぞ、ベアトリーチ。駒はふんだんに用意したぞ。備えも心構えも十分だ。
Says the drunk, dying old man.
さあ、アンティを支払おうではないか。そなたに授けられ、最後にはそなたに全て返すべきものだ。さあ、受け取れ。
Kinzo flung the window of the city wide open, took off the unreasonably large golden ring which had been on his finger, and threw it into the darkness of the raging wind and rain. Hold up. Is the implication of this line, Beatrice had the wax seal of the family crest on it already at this point in time, before Kinzo has yeeted his ring out? Which implies that Beatrice made the seal on the envelope with the family crest with her magic alone and doesn't even need the ring. The ring is just a formality. That ring was struck by lightning and after twinkling gold for an instant disappeared. Kinzo watched it go, grinning broadly and fearlessly.
負ける気はせぬぞ。お前は私のものなのだ。永遠に。
Meanwhile, the doctor's like, Kinzo, it's your turn to move in chess. Are you just gonna keep, like, yelling out the window? The ring that Kinzo had thrown became a single gold butterfly and fluttered around the wind and rain. It headed for the rose garden, almost as though it was being guided there. But then came the figure of the Golden Witch and fluttered down. When it arrived right in front of Beatrice, it burst in a flash of gold and returned to its original form, a ring flipping up into the air. It seemed as if it would simply fall back down into a puddle of water, but suddenly it stopped in midair, almost as if some transparent being had caught it. Somehow this seemed unexpected even to Beatrice. However, she soon realized what or who it was and grinned broadly at it. This new character drop? As she did, the figure of the person who had caught the ring began to fuzzily appear. It was the figure of a young man wearing a butler's uniform embroidered with the one-winged eagle crest. There was no man like this among the servants who served the Ushiromiya family. Even so, Beatrice laughed, as though it was someone she remembered fondly.
牢の上か。ずいぶん久しぶりになるな。わらわのことを覚えておったとは。
Hold up. Hold up. Do we have a new character drop? If so, where do you fall? You are not a human, which includes Beatrice. You are not a... Who are you? Where are you?
そなたはつくづく忠義に熱い男よ。
長いご無沙汰を頂戴しておりました。この牢の声、お嬢様にお仕えしていることを忘れた日など、ただの一日もござい
A
ません。
servant of Beatrice,
それよりも、
okay.
お嬢様にこそ、私をお忘れになられたのではないかと、ヒヤヒヤしておりました。何しろ、お嬢様は、
I mean, this doesn't bode well for Butler that Beatrice has more people on her side.
なるほど。
And she seems quite pleased with
確か
this.
にわらわは忘れやすいよ。そなたの皮肉を聞くまで思い出せぬとはな。
お嬢様、これを。
He does the salute that Canon does. With an exaggerated yet elegant gesture, he bowed respectfully. He held out to Beatrice the head's ring that he had just caught.
後宮金蔵より返還されました。後宮家当主の指輪でございます。指輪は再び主のもとに。
金蔵によるゲームの開始宣言。確かに受け取ったぞ。
さて、今宵はどのようなお遊びになさいましょうか。早速、ルーレットをご用意いたしましょうか。それとも、まずは紅茶をご用意いたしましょうか。
どちらにしようか迷うが、
Wait, what the heck
と
was
りあえ
that?
ずそなたの挨拶が必要であろうな。
What was that thing there? It had like 3,000 and said something?
あやつめ、開いた口が塞がらぬというような顔をしているに違いないぞ。なあ、バトラー。
Oh, and Battle has been here the whole time?
はじめまして、自己紹介をいたします。ベアトリーチェお嬢様のおそばにてお伝えしております。ローノウェと申します。
Yeah. Hold up, one of the 72 great demons. Serves a master in exchange for various forms of compensation. Personally has a contract with Beatrice as her butler, head furniture. Has multiple underlings trained in housekeeping, and he himself is extremely capable as a butler. Employing him has become a kind of status in the high society of witches. Furthermore, the cookies he bakes are superb, and witches will often line up to demand them. Heck yeah. Should possess enormous magical power, but as he always shows deference to his master, the power level is an unknown quantity. And looking at this, so you have the goats, which are low level. You have the Seven Sisters of Purgatory, which are advanced, and then he is a great, and he is listed above it. So in terms of, I guess, level, you have Goat, the Seven Sisters, Ronov, and then Beatrice. Okay. R.I.P. Humans. There's actually a little bug there on the human side. Okay, well.
どうぞ、よろしくお願い申し上げますよ。
ほらな、 開いた口が塞がらないという顔であろう。
当たり前だろ。またこんなわけのわかんない奴が出てきやがった。ヤギ頭が盆踊りを始めるのかとぼやいたら、ヤギ頭がうようよ現れて、太もも姉ちゃんたちが7人も出てきて、その上今度は羊まで出てきやがった。わけわかんねえよ。もういい加減にしやがれよ。
ところでバトラー、気づいていたか？こやつとそなたの対面だが、これが本当の悪魔の証明であることを気づいたかな？
悪魔の証明だと？どういう意味だよ。
こやつはこう見えても72柱に名を連ねる生粋の悪魔でな。つまりわらわは悪魔を直接連れてきて、まさにその存在を証明してみせたわけだ。
I love the implication that demons make really superb cookies.
ロノエは地獄に爵位を持つ序列27位の大悪魔よ。
This also implies that witches are higher than demons in the rankings of hell.
なかなかに使える男でな。高級で召し上げてわらわの世話をさせておるのだ。
ご紹介いただけまして光栄。地獄の貴族に名を連ねと、今は卑しい人間の分際って悪魔の私を逃げ出すような悪魔であるベアトリーチェ様の家具柱として使えるのですよ。
I mean, that also confirms that Beatrice was once
実に
human.
使える男なのだが、何しろ口のヘラのやつでな。時に主への敬いを忘れるのがたまに傷よ。
言葉遣いに関しましては契約書から漏れておりましたもので。
He's the typical like demon, like, we have a contract. I will follow that contract to the letter. But if there's any way for me to pull like tomfoolery around it, I'm doing it every
そ
chance
のよ
I
うに
get.
契約を変更いたしますか？
わらわも退屈せぬからそれでいい。
Beatrice turned her back to him, cackling. After bowing once to her back, Ronov turned back to Battler and struck out his right hand, showing off an innocent smile. Sorry, stuck out. Normally this would mean that he was asking for a handshake.
何の真似だよ。
私もお嬢様のわがままに振り回されている身です。その意味では私たちは良き友人になれるかと思いますよ。これは友情の握手です。もちろん悪魔の契約の締結を意味するものではありませんのでご安心を。
That's what people say when they
Nariga.
want you to enter a contract.
俺はあんたの主と大喧嘩の真っ最中でね。俺が敵と握手をするのは雨の校庭でぶちのめし合って互いがボロボロになって交わす青春ドラマみたいなシチュエーションの時だけさ。覚えておきな。
なるほど。バトラ様と握手を交わすには十分な雰囲気づくりとふさわしい場、そして心に響く甘い言葉と肉体言語の交わし合いが必要ということですね。機会を見てその場を準備いたしましょう。私めもそういうシチュエーションは大好きでございますよ。
He also has an annoying laugh. Laughing tauntingly, Ronov whispered that to Battler, with his face so close that their noses were almost touching. Battler, his face turning red after getting so close to another of the same sex, pushed him away.
気色悪い野郎だぜ。なるほど。ベアとの執事にぴったりのやつだ。
お褒めの言葉を賜れまして光栄。私は紅茶には自信がございますのでティータイムを楽しみにしていらしてくださいね。クッキーを焼くのが趣味でございますのでお茶菓子にもこうご期待をお願いいたします。
さすがは同性同士だな。打ち解け合うのが実に早い。焼けるぞ。
これはお嬢様に嫉妬させてしまい申し訳ございませんでした。お嬢様のお客人をこっそりつまみ食いなどいたしませんよ。 それではこれより他の家具どもに再び家具頭に着任いたしましたことを挨拶してまいります。しばしの暇をお許しください。
うん。権限しているのは雑用のヤギどもと儀式役の七姉妹だ
Only,
け。
implying that she has many other servants.
挨拶も楽に終わろう。
おや、あの賑やかな七姉妹たちですか。やんちゃ娘たちも少しはおしとやかに成長したでしょうか。
あれがおしとやかだってんなら、俺はおしとやかの定義を疑うぜ。
そうでございますか。七姉妹ともとはもうお遊びになられたようですね。その表情から察するに、どうやら相変わらずのやんちゃぶりのようだ。ベアトリーチェ様にお仕えするにふさわしい振る舞いをするようにといつも言っているのに、困った子たちだ。
その意味でなら安心しろよ。実に主にぴったりなふさわしい振る舞いだぜ。
そなたも言うようになったな。しかし会話は相手を認めるということだ。わらわとの雑談に応じるようになったということは、そなたがわらわの存在を徐々に
たとえお天道様が西から昇ることがあろうとも、絶対の絶対絶対お前を魔女だと認定などしねえからな。泣いて俺の靴にキスしたら、もうちょい前向きに検討してやってもいいぜ。
Even if Battler was bluffing, he still spoke forcefully, a fearless expression on his face. The witch and her butler snickered together, realizing that their guest had regained more than enough of his willpower to take on a new game. But the preparations were complete. After Ronrob exchanged a few words with Beatrice, he bowed silently to Battler, scattering into gold butterflies and disappeared. Those were interesting gold butterflies.
賑やかになるのは実に嬉しい。この島にたった一人閉じ込められ、己の力を取り戻せず、誰に話しかけることもできなかった日々のなんと退屈だったことか。
あの気持ち悪い奴が、お前に似合いの執事だってことはよくわかった。だが教えろ。その執事が、なぜ今頃になって現れた。権限しているのは、ヤギと七食いの姉ちゃんたち。とかなんとか言ったな。どういう意味だ。
うん。そなたは抗っておるが、わらわはれっきとした魔女だ。魔界に通じ、人ならざるあまたの存在と交流を持っておる。
だろうな。お前の関係には、ろくな連中がいねえぜ。ヤギの化け物に太もも姉ちゃんに、そして今度は悪魔の執事と来たわけだ。まさかとは思うが、この調子でまだおかしな連中が増えるってんじゃねえだろうな。
わらわの荘厳なる黄金感に仕える家具どもと、そこへ遊びに来る悪魔たちがどれほどいると思っているのか。まだまだ訪れるぞ。いくらでも現れるぞ。黄金鏡の扉を開き、すべての家具たちを呼び戻し、わらわはこの六軒島に新たなる城を建てる
This
のだ。
implies that even though we've gone through it twice, the door to the Golden Land hasn't been opened, probably because Battler doesn't believe. I'm guessing she needs the belief to exist.
そして懐かしき友人たちすべてを招き、三日三晩を飲み明かし踊り無論金蔵の一族たちも招くつもりでいるぞ。望めばそなたもな。
つまりこういうことか。お前は長いこと力を失っていたため、そいつらを呼び出せなかったと。それで、徐々に魔力が回復してきたため、次々化け物を呼び出せるようになったと。そう言いたいわけか。
そういうこと。そなたは最後の一戦でこそギリギリ踏みとどまっているが。
I don't know if we've seen this version of Battler before it's like
その
side
心は
smirk
すでにぐらつ
or side scowl.
く。わらわが魔女であることを否定できずにいる。その心のぐらつきがわらわの魔女として
Yeah,
の
so
力
okay,
を
so
少
she needs
し
him
ず
to
つ蘇
believe. So
ら
the
せ
more
て
he
いるの
believes,
だ。
the more power she gets.
あの気色悪い筋が現れたのは、俺が屈しかけているからだというのかよ。
そうだ。そなたは少しずつ少しずつ。わらわ、前回のゲームでは、あれほどの屈辱を受けてまで、わらわに屈服したではないか。そなたの背中は、わらわの足を投げ出すには本当に良いものだったぞ。
畜生。俺は、お前を認めさえしなければ、現状は維持できると思っていた。だがそれは、どうやら誤解だったらしいな。
そうだ。そなたが屈服に近づけば近づくほど、ゲームはわらわに有利に傾いていく。チェスだってそうであろう。互いのキングを詰め合う過程で、わらわたちは様々な駒を取り合っている。確かにわらわは、未だそなたのキングを追い詰めてはおらぬ。しかしそなたは、キングを逃すのに精一杯で、いくつもの大駒を失い、莫大後の展開がわらわに有利に傾くのは、当然のことよ。
くそ。
そなたはおそらくこれからも、死に物狂いでわらわのチェックメイトだけからは逃れるだろう。だが、その間にもわらわは、そなたの大駒を次々に奪っていく。やがてはキング以外の全てを失い、どのような形でも逃れることの叶わぬ本当のチェックメイトを受けることになろう。前回そなたは、奇縁を吐いたな。わらわを永遠に認めぬ以上、これはわらわを苛む永遠の拷問だなどと。永遠を語るのは、無限の域に達した魔女だけよ。そなたにその資格など、初めからないわ。
黄金の隠し場所については、すでに金蔵様が私の肖像画の下に碑文にて公示されております。条件は、碑文を読むことができる者すべてに公平を。黄金を暴けたなら、私はすべてをお返しするでしょう。それではどうか今宵を、金蔵様との知恵比べにて、存分にお楽しみくださいませ。今宵が知的かつ優雅な夜になるよう心よりお祈りいたしております。黄金のベアトリーチェ。
Maria finished reading the letter that Beatrice had handed her. Everyone was at a loss for words for a while, and they all broke the silence at once.
バカバカしい。取るに足らない悪質ないたずらです。
まったくだ。親父殿が当主の指輪を手放すなどあり得るわけがないじゃないか。ベアトリチェその名を語れば右往左往するだろうという見えすいたいたずらだ。
おいおい、このちょいとパンチの効きすぎたデザートを仕込んだのは誰なんだ。今なら喝采で褒めてやるから正直に白状しろよ。ローザか。
とんでもない。お父様の名を語るいたずらなんてしません。
じゃあ姉貴か兄貴か。
私？バカ言ってんじゃないわよ。兄さんでしょ。こういう悪趣味な仕掛けは。
愚弄する気か。私こそお前たちに問いたい。この太刀の悪いいたずらは誰の仕業なんだ。
Crowds from the table and stared at everyone. Since that included the children too, scared them greatly.
お父様から財産の全権を任せられたと称する。そして今日がそれを話し合うための親族会議であることを考え、いたずらだと決めつけるのも早計だと思うわ。
わからんで。まさにお父さんの悪趣味ないたずらかもしれん。自分抜きで遺産分配の話をまとめようとしているわしらをちょいと驚かせたくて仕組んだことかもしれん。
こいつを仕組んだのが親父だってんだ。マリアちゃんが読み上げた内容は冗談ってわけにはならねえぞ。
そうね、文面通りに解釈するならこれはお父様からのテストね。魔女の碑文は私たち誰にでも解けるようにずっと広間に掲示されていた。告示期間は十分。最初に解けた人間に家督と全ての財産を渡すと。
私たちの魔法叶った。
そんなバカな話はありません。後宮家の次期当主が夫であることは何ら揺るがない事実です。それを揺るがすのがこの手紙じゃない。この手紙はお父様に財産の全てを全権委任された人物からのメッセージなのよ。もはや兄さんの当主継承権は白紙に戻ったわ。魔女の碑文を解いた者が、ベアトリーチェの黄金を見つけた者が後宮家の次の当主になるのよ。
バカバカしい。その手紙のざれ言を信用するのかい。その風浪が本物だとでも信用などできるものか。
ならお父様に直接話を聞いてみましょうよ。もう機嫌が悪いからとか体調が悪いとかそんな次元じゃないわよ。この手紙はお父様の代理人であることを風浪でちゃんと示してる。それを疑うなら兄さんが証明しなさいよ。この手紙がお父様の意志のものではないって。
よかろう。お前の言う通りだ。もう親父の機嫌不機嫌の問題ではない。上へ行き直接問いたらそうじゃないか。
そうしようぜ。親父に直接聞こう。親父も親父だぜ。どうしてこんな回りくどい真似を。ま、そこが親父らしいんだがな。
お父様の手紙だということを前提に話を続けてもいいのかしら。
バカ王座！お父様の手紙に決まってんでしょ。あの手紙はお父様のなのよ。次期当主を私たち4人の中から選ぶための公平なチャンスに決まってるじゃない。バカ死ねこの役立たず。
ほんとローザンだったの悪いわ。へそでも噛んで死んじゃえば。
I was like, what is this voice? This is the inside voice of Eva from the version of herself that was like, oh, we're gonna become the head.
ごめんなさい。そうよね。ごめんなさい。
In the beginning, the adults had all doubted the authenticity of the letter. But after just now realizing that this was a once-in-a-lifetime chance for the three siblings other than Kraus in the struggle for the inheritance, Eva had changed her position and claimed that the letter was authentic. Rudolph and Rosa had realized that and agreed.
まったくそんなくだらないいたずらを大の大人がこれほどまで真に受けるとは。お父様でなくても呆れたい気持ちよくわかります。
夏志さん、それはお父さんに聞けば済む話やないか。お父さんがその手紙は知らんって一言言ってくれれば済む話やで。
兄さん、責任を持ってその手紙は知らないという一言を引き出すのよ。機嫌が悪そうだからってビビってる場合じゃないんだからね。
いい年してお父様が怖いなんてバッカみたい。へそ噛んで死んじゃえば。
This will be really interesting because we get like Eva's internal like inner child monologue.
おう、はっきり白黒をつけようじゃないか。今頃は書斎で食事中だろう。一度箸を休めてもらおうじゃないか。
決まりだな。行こう。キリエはちょっと待っててくれ。真偽を確かめてすぐ戻る。
And grandfather was already dead.
合田さんがデザートを持ってくるのをのんびり待ってるわ。
The four siblings, Natsuhi and Hideyoshi, all stood from their seats forcefully and flew out into the hallway with a clatter. Afterwards, the only ones left were the children, stunned, completely speechless, Nanjo, who looked uncomfortable, and Kyrie shrugging her shoulders. Marie, who had been at the center of all this turmoil, looked a little scared at the adult's sudden change. However, judging from her appearance, she didn't look like she realized the full significance of what she had just read out.
一体何事だってんだよ。わけわかんねえぜ。
どいつもこいつもクソったれだ。そんな兄さんが欲しいかよ。
みんな、これは親たちの問題なんだ。僕たちには関係ない。だから気にしちゃダメだ。
そうは言ってもよ。ああもうあからさまに。
見損なったぜ。欲の皮が突っ張ってやがる。
みんなで幸せになるって信じ合わないとダメ。
そうだね。僕たちはみんなで約束したもんね。ほら、バトラ君もジェシカちゃんも。
最悪の気分だぜ。
We couldn't accept it at all, but we laid down our arms for the time being. We had known vaguely how filthy the family conference was going to be this time. However, after that 6-year blank, I couldn't help being shocked. Seeing that the children were completely dejected, Dr. Nanjo cleared his throat uncomfortably.
大人の話です。お若い皆さんとは関係のないことですよ。忘れてしまいましょう。
それができりゃやってるぜ。
辛いのはわかるわ。でも今は忘れてあげて。あなたたちの将来を少しでも豊かにするため、みんなの両親は必死で戦ってるのよ。そしてやがて傷つき帰ってくるお父さんたちをどうかそんな冷たい目で迎えないであげて。
いくらキリエさんの頼みでもそれは難しいぜ。
そう割り切れるなら子供なんてやってねえぜ。
みんな幸せ。暗くなるのダメ。信じて。みんなで幸せになれるって信じないと幸せが逃げちゃう。みんなで信じないとダメなの。
いい話ね。私も信じるわ。私たちは幸せになれるわよ。
キリエおばさんありがとう。バトラとジェシカお姉ちゃんも信じて。ベアトリーチェも信じないと魔法が力を持たないっていつも言ってる。
Kyrie-san rose from her seat quietly and went over to Marie and crouched down with their eyes.
キリエおばさんが信じてくれた。あとバトラとジェシカお姉ちゃんが信じないとダメ。
二人とも強いもの。すぐに元気になってそうしてくれるわよ。それより教えてほしいの。
Kyrie-san said that Jessica, Georgia Anarchy, and Dr. Nanjo now listened closely. It looked like our parents' minds had been filled by thoughts of grandfather and inheritance problems. But we wanted to ask Marie about something simpler.
何？
Who gave you the
マリ
letter?
アちゃんにその手紙を渡したのって誰？
ベアトリーチェ。
肖像画に書かれている。
パサと一緒にこの手紙もくれたの。そしてね、マリアのバラが折れちゃってたのを魔法で直してくれたの。ベアトリーチェは何でもできるすごい
And
子
this
な
time
の。
there will be proof of that rose. There's the rose there with the golden thread around it.
詳しく聞かせてくれるかしら。
And I guess they're skipping, repeating everything that we just learned. It jumps ahead to 8 p.m. And speaking of jumping ahead, we are going to stop there without even being allowed to wait for dessert. we're gonna stop there. But thanks for tuning in. We had some interesting new things. We had a new person come in. We've had some kind of questions and theories thrown out there. So leave some comments down below if you have some theories about what's going to come up next. No spoilers, of course, if you've seen what comes up next. And I will see you all again next time. Bye for now.